Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive.
Always exciting to get started on a new one.
Today, we're going to be looking at the story of Cain and Abel
Oh,
from Genesis 4.
right.
And what's really interesting is we have this AI-generated video script outline of the chapter.
Okay, interesting.
So we're kind of using this like modern lens to look back at this really ancient story.
Yeah, that's cool.
And it's a really timeless story.
For sure.
So I think it's going to be really interesting to see what we uncover.
It always is.
It always is with these.
What strikes me is that it really gets at like the heart of who we are.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's so true.
Jealousy, resentment, these kind of dark emotions, they've been around forever.
Yeah, like since the beginning.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that's where the script gets really interesting.
Okay.
Is it doesn't just tell the story.
Right.
It like draws these parallels between Cain's jealousy and the kind of envy we see today, especially with social media.
Oh, yeah, that's interesting.
But before we get there,
Okay.
can you give us like a quick
Yeah.
refresher on the story of Cain and Abel
Of course.
for anyone who doesn't know it really well?
Absolutely. So Cain and Abel were the first two kids of Adam and Eve,
Right.
the first siblings in human history.
Wow, yeah.
And they both bring offerings to God.
Okay.
Cain brings, fruits of the earth.
Yeah.
He was a farmer.
Makes sense.
Abel was a shepherd, and he brought a sacrifice of his livestock.
Okay.
But for reasons that the text doesn't really spell out,
Right.
God favors Abel's offering and rejects Cain's.
And that's where things get interesting.
Right. That's right.
It doesn't just say God liked Abel's offering better
Exactly.
and leave it at that.
Yeah.
It really tries to explore some potential explanations and some interpretations, which I found really fascinating.
It is fascinating.
Yeah.
There's a few different schools of thought on why Cain's offering was rejected.
Oh, okay.
One interpretation comes directly from the outline and focuses on like the nature of the offerings themselves.
Okay.
So Abel offered a firstborn lamb.
Oh, wow.
Which represents a sacrifice of life.
Right.
And some scholars suggest that was seen as more valuable in that cultural context.
Gotcha.
Whereas Cain brought fruits of the earth.
Right.
Which could be seen as maybe less significant.
Yeah, a little less heartfelt.
Exactly. It's not just about what they brought, but the spirit in which it was given.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, the script points out that some scholars think that Cain's offering was rejected because of his attitude.
Oh, that's interesting.
Maybe there was a lack of humility or even a sense of resentment behind it.
Yeah.
And the text doesn't really tell us for sure.
Right.
But it invites us to consider the motivations
Yeah, the love of that.
behind our actions.
Because it's like it brings up that idea that our outward actions are often a reflection of our internal state.
Exactly.
And that leads us to Cain's reaction.
Right.
Which, spoiler alert, is not a healthy one.
Not so much.
He lets jealousy just consume him.
Oh, yeah.
And, well, things take a very dark turn.
Things go south.
Yes, they do.
The script really doesn't shy away from the reality of what happens.
Boy.
Cain standing in a field covered in his brother's blood.
Yeah.
It's powerful imagery.
It really is.
And it shows the destructive power of jealousy.
And what I thought was so interesting was how the script connects that to modern-day envy.
Oh, yeah.
It's like we may not be sacrificing animals on altars.
Right.
But we still struggle with those same primal emotions.
Totally.
Especially now with social media.
Oh, absolutely. The script references some psychological research on how envy has, evolved.
Oh, wow.
It talks about how social media has amplified this comparison game.
Yeah.
And those feelings of just not being enough can be really damaging.
Oh, for sure. And this is where it gets really interesting for me.
Okay.
Because the script goes beyond just saying social media is bad. It makes you jealous.
Right.
It actually pulls in some specific examples.
Right. Yeah. Like imagine you're scrolling through your feed and you see someone, posting about like a big promotion or a fancy vacation, or like a perfect relationship.
Right. It's so relatable.
Yeah.
It's almost impossible not to feel that twinge of envy sometimes.
Right.
I know I've definitely been there. Scrolling through those perfect lives and feeling inadequate.
And that's what the script highlights, how these online platforms can create this constant comparison. It's like we're always measuring ourselves against others.
Right.
And it's hard to escape that feeling of not being enough.
Yeah, totally. So what's the antidote?
Right.
Like we can't just delete all of our social media and live in a cave.
Right.
Right. The script has to offer some sort of solution to this modern envy trap.
It does. And it's something we kind of already talked about a little bit. Gratitude.
Yeah.
The script presents it as like a call to action, urging viewers to cultivate gratitude as a way to combat envy.
Gratitude, it's such a simple concept.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's so easy to forget.
Right.
How does the script suggest we put that into practice?
Yeah, so it's not just about saying thank you more often.
Right.
It's about a deeper shift in perspective.
Okay.
The script outlines this cool exercise where it encourages viewers to write down what they're grateful for.
Oh, that's interesting.
It might seem basic, but there's something about putting it on paper and making it tangible.
Yeah, I can see that because when you're focused on what you have to be grateful for,
Yes.
it makes it harder to dwell on what you lack.
Exactly.
It's like shifting your focus from scarcity to abundance.
That's it.
Yeah.
It's about recognizing and appreciating the good things in your life,
Right.
even when things are tough. Yeah.
The script actually quotes a psychologist
Wow.
who specializes in envy,
Okay.
who says that gratitude helps rewire our brains,
Wow.
making us less susceptible to those comparisons.
That's so cool. And that brings up another point the script makes,
Yeah.
that someone else's success doesn't diminish our own worth.
Oh, that's huge.
Right.
Yeah,
Just because someone got a promotion
exactly.
doesn't mean you're a failure.
Yeah, we're all on our own paths.
It's like that saying, comparison is the thief of joy.
That's right.
When we're so busy comparing ourselves to other people,
Right.
we miss out on the joy and beauty of our own lives.
Absolutely. And the script takes that even further.
Okay.
It argues that when we can move past envy, we can actually start to celebrate the success of others.
Oh, wow.
We can be genuinely happy for them without feeling threatened.
That reminds me of something we talked about earlier.
Okay.
Those blood-stained fields that are mentioned in the script.
I'm still a little fuzzy on what that represents.
Yeah, so that phrase is loaded with symbolism.
Okay.
Those blood-stained fields represent the areas in our lives where jealousy has taken root and caused damage.
So it's not about literal violence,
Right.
but more the emotional
Yes.
and relational damage
That secure and can inflict.
it's about recognizing those patterns of comparison and negativity that
Right.
can poison our relationships
Right.
and even sabotage our own growth.
So it could be a specific relationship where there's constant competition.
Yeah.
Or a professional field where there's envy.
Yeah,
Or even our own internal self-talk where we're putting ourselves down.
exactly.
Yeah.
And the script's message is that we need to be mindful of these bloodstained fields and actively work to cultivate a more positive and supportive mindset.
That's powerful because it's not just about avoiding those situations.
Right.
It's about choosing a different path. The script emphasizes that we always have a choice. We can feed the envy, or we can choose to cultivate gratitude,
Right.
focus on our own path, and support the success of others.
And that's such a hopeful message.
Yeah.
Because it means we have agency.
Right.
We have the power to break free from those patterns of negativity.
And that brings us to another crucial point the script makes.
Okay.
The idea of redemption.
Oh, yeah.
Even Cain, despite his act, isn't completely abandoned.
You're right. He faces consequences, but there's also this glimmer of hope.
That's right.
He's given a mark of protection.
Yeah.
A sign that even in the face of terrible mistakes,
Right.
there's still the possibility for a different path.
And that's such an important message because we're all imperfect beings.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
Right.
We all stumble and we all struggle with negative emotions.
For sure.
Sometimes.
Yeah, but the key is to keep learning, keep growing,
Right.
and keep striving to be better.
That's it.
Versions of ourselves.
It's about recognizing our own blood-stained fields.
Right.
Taking responsibility for our actions and choosing a more compassionate and life-giving path.
Yeah, it's like even in this ancient story, there's a reminder that we're not defined by our worst moments.
Yeah.
That there's always a chance for growth, for change.
That's true. And that's one of the most powerful takeaways from this whole deep dive.
Right.
The idea that even when faced with darkness, there's always hope. There's always a chance for redemption.
Yeah.
And there's always an invitation to choose love over envy.
Right.
Gratitude over resentment.
I love that.
Yeah.
Such a powerful message.
Yeah.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive
Okay.
into Cain and Abel,
Yeah.
what is that one key takeaway that you want our listener to walk away with?
I think for me, it's the idea that
Yeah.
we can't always control every feeling
Right.
that pops into our head. We all have those moments of jealousy or comparison.
Yeah. for sure.
But we can choose how we respond.
Right.
We can choose to spiral down that rabbit hole of negativity.
Right.
Or we can step back, acknowledge those bloodstained fields within ourselves and cultivate a more grateful and compassionate perspective.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
I couldn't have said it better myself.
It's powerful.
And I think that's such a powerful place to end this conversation.
For sure.
With this sense of agency.
Yeah.
This reminder that we have the power to choose our path.
Absolutely.
Even when it feels like we're surrounded by darkness.
And you know what's beautiful about that is that...
What's that?
We don't have to do it alone.
Oh, yeah?
Cain wasn't completely abandoned.
Right.
Even after his terrible act.
Yeah.
We have each other.
Yeah, that's true.
We can support each other on this journey, celebrate each other's successes, and offer compassion when we stumble.
That's such a beautiful reminder. And I think it's the perfect note to end on this call to connection, this reminder that we're all in this together.
Totally.
Navigating the complexities of life.
Yeah.
And striving to be better versions of ourselves.
Well said.
So to our listener, we hope this deep dive into Cain and Abel has given you some food for thought, some tools for navigating those tricky emotions, and most importantly, a renewed sense of hope.
Absolutely.
Keep exploring, keep questioning, and keep choosing gratitude.
It's important.
Until next time.
Yeah.
Happy diving.
Bye.